Run them jewels fast, run them jewels fast, run them, fuck the slow mo.
Hey. Say to kick it off, it's still not there yet. But hello, this is Run the Jewels. Hey, lady, you call him Dr. Jones. We're back by unpopular demand. Jake and I have taken some time off to travel, explore life, do some personal reflection. We did none of that. I think you pretty much stayed at your house. I pretty much stayed at my house. But I'm back, thankfully, live from Studio A. That Studio B for quite some time, more time than I would have liked. But yeah, it's September 1st. This pod is brought to you by all of the events that have happened over the summer. This is the summer Blockbuster edition. We're going to recap what went on. We're going to talk about what we saw in theaters and talk about what did well, what did not do well, and a couple other things along the way. So I'm back with my illustrious co-host, Jake Haddon. So, Jake, you can say hello to our...
Hello, guys. Happy to see you again. Always a pleasure to be here. It was a good summer. It was a good summer, and it's over. The thing is, it's over. It was a good summer. They've got pumpkin spice beer in the package stores now, and that means summer's over.
Yeah.
We have yoga pants and Ugg boots to look forward to.
Yep, and we're going to be seeing a lot of it. The two of us living in New England, so we're going to be hit straight in the mouth with that pretty soon. I remember I was at Olive Garden like a week and a half ago, and they had like pumpkin beer or pumpkin something on the menu at Olive Garden, of all places. And I was like, no, well, let's pump the brakes in the fall. But
basic bitches do love their Olive Garden.
They do. White girls stay loving pumpkins shit. So, so anyway, and we might hopefully, I was going to discuss this with you off pod, do a fall film preview. Because there's a few interesting things coming out in the next few months. But that's for later. Now is for the summer. Very interesting summer. A lot of things happened. One of the biggest summers of all time, if not potentially the biggest. I would have to go back and check those numbers on Box Office Pro or Box Office Mojo or one of the sites. But it was an out-of-control summer. I think we had 3 films go over 100 million in the first weekend, which is very, very rare. And we had one that that set a record of most gross domestically in North America ever. So a lot of good stuff, and then stuff that were really just bombed that was supposed to be tentpoles. So a lot of things that went on. We could really start anywhere, but I think we'll go over what you and I saw in theater and maybe hit on those briefly. I know we probably did this a little bit in the last pod. We did like a summer heat check and talked in depth about some of the stuff that we saw.
Yeah, and I don't know how much either of us have been to the movies since then, but
but what was your list? Because I gave you my list, but I'll give it again on air. But do you recall your list? It started with Avengers when I came and watched it with you.
It did start with Avengers, and then Mad Max, which was amazing, and Mad Max is amazing.
Did it come out today? It might have come out today on DVD.
It came out on Vudu, like a digital copy, last week, and I got it because I have a compulsion to do that kind of shit. So Mad Max, Avengers, yeah. Fast and the Furious 7, which I enjoyed. Does that count as the summer?
It kind of does. Like they try to sneak it in there as a part of it. I don't think it's going to take just yet. I don't think the analysts are lumping it in. I think they're still going by May 1st.
Okay.
And that was April, but it feels a lot
Fast and
like.
Furious, but it was. I mean, that's what got me ready for summer. You know. So there was that, and then Inside Out, which was awesome. Ant-Man, which was awesome.
Which I saw with you.
Yeah. Did I say Jurassic World?
Nope, but that's in
Jurassic World, obviously. Me and everyone else in the country saw it that first weekend.
Me too.
American Ultra, and that might be it. It's 7.
Yeah. Because you had in there. No, you saw Entourage as well.
Entourage as well, 8.
Yeah, you did good. That's good.
Yeah, I had a good summer.
Yeah. If we're including, yeah, we got effects. If we're including Fast and Furious, I got 6 done. So so Fast and Furious aside, Avengers. Let's see. So Avengers, Entourage, Mad Max, Jurassic World, Ant-Man. Very upset with myself that I haven't seen Straight Outta Compton yet, but I think I might still get that done in the next, if not sooner. But yeah, I think it was just 6 for me, including Fast 7. But okay, so of those that you listed, I think I'm gonna know your answer. Which was your favorite?
All right, so I've had a feeling you were gonna ask me a question like that, and I've got a kind of a 2-part answer because the best movie that I saw, the best movie experience that I had was Mad Max Fury Road. It was just mind-blowing. I didn't know you could make a movie like that anymore.
Yeah.
And have it be that groundbreaking. And yeah, it really surprised me. But I had absolutely zero expectations, or I mean, I've probably said this on pod before. I'm probably on record as saying this is like, I thought Ant-Man was going to surprise me, and it did surprise me in the best way, and I loved that too. So I'm still going to go with Mad Max, but I want you to know, Ant-Man, that you did your job well.
Shout out to Ant-Man. Yeah, good answer. So my answer, I guess, is very similar. I think I was kind of most involved and most enthralled by Mad Max, definitely, just because of what it was, and also the way I saw it was sweet. And I think I might have spoke about it to you, definitely, but even on pod before, where I think it was like a random Tuesday afternoon, nobody else was in the whole theater, so I could just sit there and kind of soak it all in privately by myself. So that was great, and it's definitely going to be something I own in the next little while. But Ant-Man, I don't. So, I mean, was I sitting next to you, or was I sitting like one down from you, torturing whoever was in between us? I think I was sitting next to you.
I think you're sitting next to me too, because when I think Sean was on my right, and Nick was on your left.
Okay, right, okay. And I knew I was going to be, I had hopes that it was going to be just like a sleeper, awesome film that kind of steals, a lot of the thunder from other things that happened this summer. But I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. I thought it was really good. I had the best time at the movies at Ant-Man this summer, definitely. I don't think I've laughed that hard at a film in theaters since the original Hangover. And I was laughing, and it was just from, I won't spoil it, but like from some of the things that when they are very self-aware over there at Marvel, and this movie especially is probably their most self-aware film to date. So a lot of the things that they were doing in action sequences and stuff, or some of the clever montages were hysterical. Some of the action sequences were especially funny to me. I won't name I won't name bits and pieces of what I thought were best, but I was in stitches sitting next to you, just crying at some of that stuff. And I don't know if it was like on purpose, like they weren't like strong one-liners or anything. They were just kind of like, this is really a movie about ants. And I'm sitting viewing this movie with them just grinning, ear to ear like an idiot, just enjoying myself watching ants, and it was great.
I remember one point where you were just like, and you didn't say anything to me, and then we left, and you were just like, dude, the ants. It was all the ants.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
Yeah. It was great. That was I really liked Michael Douglas. I really liked Paul Rudd. Evangeline Lilly was good.
Yeah.
Michael Pena, forget it. Just
Stole
stole the whole movie.
The show.
Yeah. I just watched Fury for the first time too yesterday, and it's like that guy's just very talented. He's a brilliant actor, and it's night and day between his character in Ant-Man and his his character driving a tank in World War II, Nazi Germany. So he's very skilled. But so I think my answer would be I really enjoyed being in Ant-Man, but I should say that I kind of there's a special place in my heart for the Jurassic World thing, just because it was just an event,
Right.
or it became an event. It wasn't an event in my mind going into it, but when I saw it on Sunday of that first week, and I knew how crazy it was becoming, all the money it was making, and when I walked out of it, I felt like I saw, or like I had a ticket for, like, I don't know, what's that old circus thing, like Barnaby's or whatever?
The Ringling Brothers, Barnaby.
Yeah. Like that sort of thing. It's like you had a ticket for that, or I don't know, or it's a horrible analogy, but I felt like that. It felt like I was at like a piece of media or cinematic history. So that was kind of cool, especially since I'm just like a box office number geek. So it was pretty cool for me personally. But Ant-Man kind of tops.
Yeah.
So let's see. So since we're talking about big winners, we'll go over the big winners really quick, and we could talk about what might have stuck out to either of us. Let me see. Here's my list here. So in particular order, this is tops 1 through 10. It ended up being Jurassic World of Universal.
Mm-hmm.
Avengers: Age of Ultron at 2 from Disney. Inside Out from Disney.
Which
Minions.
was awesome. Oh, I didn't see Minions. Is that also Disney?
No, Universal.
DreamWorks, right.
Yeah. Universal with Minions at number 4. Pitch Perfect 2, also from Universal, at number 5. Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation, the only entry, at number 6 from Paramount. Ant-Man at number 7 from Disney. San Andreas, which sneaky made a lot of noise in May for Warner Brothers. Let's see, Mad Max at number 9 from Warner Brothers.
Only number 9, really?
Yeah. And it did well, but I think it should have done better than that.
Yeah, seriously.
And then I'm filling out the number 10 was Straight Outta Compton from Universal. Universal with the stamp on it at the end of the season there. So that was the list. And obviously the pattern was Universal and Disney making up most of the successful films this summer.
Yeah.
Fox, not on the list. Sony, not on the list. Paramount only put in one effort with MI Rogue Nation. Warner Brothers would have liked to have done better, potentially, with the 2 films that got on there only. But however, Warner Brothers, their tent poles are kind of to come with the DC stuff looming.
We hope, or they hope.
They hope. Yeah.
We hope too, because I hope those are good.
Yeah, we want them to be good. So, so I think I showed you. Let's see. I showed you this graph, but I'll just throw it up again just in case it didn't compound the point. So Universal and Disney blowing away the rest of the competition this summer.
Yeah.
If anything, it should kick the other studios into gear and make them understand that maybe they have to go about putting out movies in a different way or picking better stories.
Yeah, or I mean,
or
hiring better people to run your show. Oh shit! But this graph, let me just tell you, this graph is staggering and inspiring. If I have ever seen one.
See, I thought that as well. I did think that when I saw it. Yeah, it's funny you should say that. Yeah, shameless plug to my Twitter handle there.
One of the best Twitter accounts I follow.
True. Yeah. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Anyway, I'll stop the self-promotion there, even though I'm running a podcast that only you and I watch, and all I do is shamelessly self-promote. And shout out to Chris Bolte. He's a fan.
Yeah.
But
we're gonna be giving away a special secret prize to our
the raffle people.
Best fan. So you have to watch this to know about it. And if you watch this and know about it and let us know.
And comment below.
Throw a comment on there. Hit the like button.
Go crazy.
Subscribers. That's what we need. So.
See, I thought that drum effect was going to be like, but not that drum roll, but okay. Anyway. So that was the list. Universal and Disney, chicken names. And let's see. So of that list, Jurassic World, Avengers, Inside Out, Minions, Pitch Perfect 2, Rogue Nation, Ant-Man, San Andreas, Mad Max, Straight Outta Compton. I think I'm least inclined to care about San Andreas.
Oh, yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. It's supposedly good, but when that started to take off, I was confused by what audience was actually eating that up. Because I'm not really into like 2012 or like the Day After Tomorrow or those kind of disaster movies. They're not really my thing, so I didn't care too much about. I like The Rock. Yeah, I like The Rock.
I didn't see it. I'm right there with you, pal.
Right. Yeah. So, disaster movies for me don't really move the needle. But and then also, I haven't seen the first Pitch Perfect, so I wasn't going to be able to see the second.
There's an excuse. Yep.
So it's a hard rule. You can't see the sequel.
Oh no.
Just like you can't watch the movie if you haven't read the book that it's based on. But that's false. But I was happy to see how well it did because it means that there was a large female demographic that came out to support the film in droves. So that's good to know that, even girls are stopping what they're doing and going to see a movie. And you're like laughing at me, but I'm telling the truth. Like,
I'm laughing that it has to be a female demographic that went to see it. Just because, I mean, obviously it was, but just the fact that you're saying like, oh, because it's on the top 10 list, that means a lot of girls went to the movies this summer.
No. That's not based on the top 10 list. No, I've read about Pitch Perfect 2 when it came out and whatnot and how well it did. It like doubled its ending numbers in the first weekend. Oh, nice. And the demographic was skewed largely towards women, like with Magic Mike XL, which I didn't see. I don't think you saw it either, but it's up there with Straight Outta Compton, which is what makes me most mad I haven't seen yet. And I don't know if we've talked about. I've had many conversations at you about Magic Mike that you've indulged me on a little bit, but
I like the first one. I don't know. I heard a bad review of the second one, so I didn't see it.
oh, you did? Interesting. I heard a really good review from
Oh, really?
from Grantland, of like a guy who's a fantastic critic who, full disclosure, is gay, but the other guy that he was discussing it with, who he saw it with, who is also a critic, is just like a straight guy. And the straight guy was also saying how great it was and how much fun he was having at the movie. So I'm still on record for saying that Magic Mike's a sneaky dudes movie disguised as a chick movie. Yeah. So XXL didn't do what they were hoping it was going to do. It did modestly successfully, I believe, but I think they were hoping for a little bit more of a splash. But anyway, we won't get hung up on on G-strings for too long here. But let's see. So beyond that, I know Minions just passed a landmark too of crossing $1 billion internationally as well. So and that would be the third thing that I wasn't in too much of a rush to go check out, just because I think I feel as if Inside Out is something that everybody can go watch. That's a family film, and Minions is probably not.
No, yeah, I had the same feeling, which is why I didn't see it. I saw Minions I saw Inside Out.
Yeah,
I think it was a Sunday afternoon, and it was like me and a friend, and then all like families, like full families, like nuclear families, not like full extended families, but I was laughing at a lot of parts, like loudly, and I was also I might have shed a teared up a couple times.
I was gonna say, did it pull on your heartstrings? Because that's been a resounding.
Hell yes.
Everybody has said that.
It's like the most well thought out. I'm gonna say it's the most well thought out movie since the Lego movie. I was gonna say most well thought out animated movie, but both of those, are just excellent. But it was great. It was excellent. I think you're gonna love it when you see it.
Yeah, I definitely want to see it. I mean, those guys over at Pixar especially, but Disney in general, do a really good job crafting a good story. So I knew that this was going to be successful. I listened to a few different interviews about it from some of its creators, and I listened to some people talk about it after just regular people who went and saw it in the theaters, and it sounded as if it was one of the most well put together storylines of the summer.
Yeah, and the cast too. So each of the main characters played an emotion in like the center of the human, and
it was like Amy Poehler, Bill Hader,
Lewis Black,
Mindy Kaling.
Yep.
Okay.
And then
Phyllis from
yes. Phyllis. I never remember her actual name, but Phyllis works for everyone involved.
All of them perfect.
Amazing. And they were so well cast. Oh my God. So well utilized too. Anyway, Inside Out, see it.
So it was really good. That was interesting too, because as we're talking about Inside Out and Minions, last year, I believe in 2014, there wasn't really a family movie, Nevermind 2, that came out last year from what I read in different articles. And a big part of what studios need to keep remembering, I guess, going forward, which 2014 might have been a fluke year for not having family movies, but what they should keep in mind going forward is, from what I was reading, was to not neglect the family audiences, because obviously this isn't, earth-shattering stuff. It's the summer. You need to attract families because what else are they doing besides enjoying themselves while not being in school? But you need to appeal to that demographic, because Inside Out is the third entry on this list. Minions just made $1 billion here and overseas. So
did Frozen not come out last year?
Frozen came out in November of 2013. Yeah.
Damn. That fever lasted a while then. Like, they didn't even need one last year. That fever lasted a long time.
Yeah. But definitely. But there just wasn't one in the summer. So
Right.
But Frozen did have a lot of staying power.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, they didn't even need one in 2014.
Right. I think they might have put out Frozen and Big Hero 6.
Yes, Big Hero 6. I didn't see. That's another Marvel property. I think it's a Marvel comic.
It's a Marvel comic, yeah, that they just kind of, somebody from Disney Animation just asked if they could borrow it, and they were like, yeah, sure. It's kind of one of our second or third tier properties anyway, so take a crack at it.
Go nuts, yeah.
Did well. So there's a lot of money to be made in family films, so it's good to see that reinforced on the scoreboard here with Inside Out and Minions doing so well. Let's see, anything else particular about some of these winners here? Give me your opinion on Rogue Nation. I know you didn't see it. I don't know how much you've heard about it.
We almost went to see it. That's the thing. We went to see it, but we were like 5 minutes late, and we talked ourselves out of it for some reason. I wanted to see it. It looked interesting. Like, I thought Ghost Protocol was pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. And I mean, yeah, you're directly funding Scientology, but I am going to see it. I just am going to watch it in my house when it's available to me. Like, I'm not going to go out of my way to see it, but I'm glad that it's doing well, because I mean, that whole franchise has been pretty solid, other than one of the ones in the middle there. Mm. But I've always loved the character, like Ethan Hunt.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. I still think it's kind of comical that Jeremy Renner is involved, because
Jeremy Renner's like oregano. He's just like garlic powder. Like, he's good. You just put him in there with other good stuff to make it better. Like, oh, the Avengers, that'll be fun. Let's put Jeremy Renner in it. Okay, cool. Like, Hurt Locker was a good movie. Would have been a good movie without him, but he made that movie. Mm-hmm. Hansel and Gretel.
Kind of a nightmare.
Would have been a nightmare, but no. But I mean,
he's got an interesting representation because it's rumored. First of all, I don't know if you read. I don't know if it was in Rolling Stone or some magazine publication that did a whole interview profile on Jeremy Renner, and he's kind of tapped.
Is he?
Yeah. He talks extensively about his illustrious house flipping career that he does on the side of acting. Him and his buddy, they just buy and flip houses all the time, and never refers to them as houses. He only refers to them as structures. So he has not housewarming parties, but parties at his structures. It's just kind of bizarre. We've seen a couple interviews that he did for the Avengers, and he was just kind of a bit of a wild card throughout the whole thing. So he's just an interesting person, and I think his career is so oddly interesting too, because he gets involved on these big franchises. It's like somebody tells him in his representation, okay, we're going to cast you in the Bourne films. And you're going to take it over. Right. And you're going to take it over for Matt Damon. And he does one, and Matt Damon's like, well, I'm going to come back. And Matt Damon's coming back for the fifth, right?
Nice.
Or with Mission Impossible, they're like, okay, we're going to insert you. You're going to be the bridge from Tom Cruise to you, Jeremy. And they're like, well, Tom is still willing to hang on the side of airplanes, so we're gonna go with Tom still.
Yeah,
yeah. And
do insert him into struggling franchises. Just give him a little boost.
Yeah, and then when he's supposed to get the keys to the car at the end of the day, well, you're not ready, and it's a weird dynamic or paradigm for him to be involved with in Hollywood. And we know all the stuff about Hawkeye and the Avengers, but anyway. The film Rogue Nation, I heard it I mean, I heard it's great. I heard Cruise is great. Cruise, I'll tell you, he's like sneaky, doesn't get enough credit. I mean, I know he's kind of a wackadoo with the Scientology stuff, but I listened to him on the Q&A with Jeff Goldsmith podcast that I've shared with you a couple times. Nice. He was on with the director, Christopher McQuarrie, who's a phenomenal director, won an Oscar for The Usual Suspects. I don't want to get that wrong. Yeah, Usual Suspects. And so the director is great, and he's worked with Cruise in the past. Something recently they just did. I don't know if it was. I don't think it was Edge of Tomorrow, which also did very well in 2014. But it was some other recent project with Tom Cruise. But anywho, I listened to Cruise and like speak about his approach to acting and how seriously he takes it, and how knowledgeable he is about what he's doing at all times, and his philosophy on doing these stunts. And these stunts are crazy. I mean, if everybody doesn't know by now, you should know that when there's that clip of him hanging on the side of the whatever that enormous jet airliner is. That's him all the way. There's no.
Yeah, he does all of his own stunts.
Yeah, the only thing that was
going most of his own stunts.
Right. The only thing that was going on there where he was tied to it, which is still like something goes wrong, it's death. So it doesn't matter if you're tied to it or not. Like he's tied on to like help him keep the grip, I guess. But you know, if a bird flies by, you're dead. And he said as much too. Like in this interview, he said, if a bird flies into me, I'm done. I'm a goner. It's over. So it's nuts seeing what that guy will do to have a better product on the screen, which is cool. Like I really appreciate that kind of dedication. It might be unnecessary, but it's interesting to know that the guy has $300 trillion in the bank and still gets up to do this sort of stuff. So that's pretty cool, and I respect that. So I kind of wanted to see the movie just to pay respect to that sort of whole thing. Also heard that Rebecca Ferguson, the female lead, is fire. Apparently she just like almost pretty much steals the show.
Really?
Yeah, and to the point where I've listened to a lot of different film reporters and critics talk about like what's next for her, and they're already like leapfrogging over things that you would think would be big steps up for her that they don't think is even necessary for her to do. It's almost beneath her. Like the Gambit film, the female lead was tossed around to her, and I heard a lot of people saying that I think she can already do better than that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that if I were her.
Yeah.
That movie's gonna blow.
Oh, you think it's gonna be bad?
I do.
Oh,
after this summer's got me up and then got me down. Like I wanted Fantastic Four to be good. I don't want to transition into that just yet, but I wanted that to be good.
Yeah.
And Fox does not know what they're doing with superheroes. Just give it back. Just give it back. Just give it back. And you bully. You're a bully. Give him back his lunch money. Like I know he doesn't need it, but just it's not yours. Jerks.
And we'll talk about Fantastic Four in a hot minute. Which actually we might be able to get to it anyway, because I think that was all I had for the winners. So I'll go over the list of losers because I haven't even said this out loud to you yet. So the losers in my mind, and I've done a little bit of just making sure fact checking was correct with my assumption here, but the big losers in my mind were, like we mentioned, Fantastic Four. Bomb, just straight nuclear at the box office. Didn't do well at all. Terminator Genesis, weird, that didn't do well. Tomorrowland, didn't know what the hell it was about, and nor did the rest of America until they actually walked into the theater. Usually the marketing needs to be better than that. Disney, not sure what happened there. Ted 2 didn't do well for what they were really expecting. Funny. Was it? I mean, I didn't see it, but the numbers reflected it not doing well. I think it did in total half as much money as the original did.
All right, fine.
With a sequel, you gotta at least match. let's see, horror. Horror did not do well this summer. The big properties in the horror genre that got rolled out were Insidious 3, Sinister 2, and The Gallows. Interesting enough, all produced by the Blumhouse Productions, which kind of sounds like an indictment on them, but that's not really fair because they run Jason Blum and Blumhouse. They run almost everything over there in terms of horror. Any recent horror film that's come out is somehow timed to Blumhouse, and it started with Paranormal Activity. It came all the way up through the original Insidious and Sinister. Sinister 1 is terrific, by the way.
Yes, it is.
The Gallows, like I mentioned, was also a brand new franchise film that Blumhouse rolled out that didn't do that well. And then last but not least, the most insulting film of the whole season, Pixels. So
I didn't see Pixels. I wanted to.
You wanted to see Pixels.
I did. Okay. I was going to give him one more shot to get back at what he used to be, Adam Sandler. Like I don't know. Didn't do well. Huh? No.
Didn't really resonate. No.
That's fine. Interesting concept.
And it almost is worse in the sense that was Sony's big one for the summer.
Oh yeah, huh?
They were all in on Pixels. So, they didn't have much else going on at all. So I mean, that's probably in light of the big shakeup over there, and there's going to be kind of a down year. If they were going to have a down year or a down summer, it was probably going to be this one. What with all the changeover in the email hack. So
yeah, true.
But what do you want to do? Do you want to go Fantastic Four first or Pixels?
Up to you.
All right.
Let's go with the 4.
Let's go with the 4. Because you wanted this to do well. I wanted this to do well. I was nervous from the jump when I saw the first trailer. I don't know if I was on record on this show of saying that, or if we just talked about it separately. It's all too blurred now since we've done 7 months of this stuff. So I was very nervous about it from the get. I liked the cast. I really like Michael B. Jordan. The jury's still out for me on Miles Teller. I like Jamie Bell for the most part, and I heard he might be the best in the film from what I heard. And I also really like Kate Mara. So I wanted this to do well. I wanted Fox to kind of figure it out and get this one right, because the first incarnation of the comic to big screen was okay. It was decent, but there's definitely room for improvement. So I thought this was going to be a big improvement. And what with Josh Trank being involved and leading the charge, that ended up being one of its biggest downfalls. But depending on who you listen to, but it was bad. I think I saw comparisons to Elektra.
Yeah. For like worst comic book movie ever.
Which is never the company you want to keep. Nope. What else did I see? I saw that it made, I don't even know if it made $50 million. Never mind 100. I can go double check that while you give your take in a moment. But also just a lot of strange things happened during the production. It sounded as if Josh Trank got separated from the production towards the end. The studio kind of stepped in and gave most of the control to Simon Kinberg, who helped write it. Simon Kinberg, who has heavily been involved with the X-Men reboot for Fox, and also Simon Kinberg is involved with the new upcoming Star Wars. So he's a person with significant experience in power control as of late. And Fox basically said, we're giving control to Kinberg to Trank because of some of the weird stuff that we talked about during, I think, our Star Wars show when Trank got removed from the second standalone project.
Right.
Yeah.
A
little crazy. I also heard that he did not like Kate Mara for this role and sort of punished her in the film by not using her a lot, or like never speaking to her on set, just being upset that she was involved. So kind of took it out in a strange sense on her during production. Yeah, it was a weird thing. And then he had the tweet.
I was going to say, the tweet. I wish you could see the movie. I wanted to show you.
Yes, but you'll never see it because the studio gave you that, basically.
He took that down real quick.
Took it down real quick, but you can't. I mean, it's out there.
It's out there.
Yeah.
I was listening to him talk to Kevin Smith on.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
A couple podcasts on the Fat Man on Batman, and it was like leading up to the release of the movie, and I was listening to him talk, and I was like, yes, this guy all the way, because they were talking about Chronicle and how good it was, and I was like rooting for him. I was like, yes, he made it from YouTube to the silver screen, and he's gonna make the best Fantastic Four movie we've ever seen. And shit, nope. No. Yeah. So I think Fox, come on.
Let me ask you. Well, first of all, they shouldn't have made this movie. This movie only was made because it had a time clock.
On the rights.
Yeah, the film rights reverting back to Marvel, or I think Disney Marvel.
Mm-hmm. Marvel Studios.
If they didn't this property X amount of years. So they solely made this movie, maybe not solely, but most of the motivation was to make sure they didn't lose the film rights to the characters. They made it for the wrong reasons.
Right.
And it didn't do well. Let me ask you this. I'm of the opinion that the Fantastic Four doesn't resonate with the general public. That it's not something that is easily relatable. That it's not something that people can really get behind. Now, I say that with full knowledge that we just spent about 5 minutes talking about how much we liked Ant-Man.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
The Fantastic Four's appeal, like the coolest thing about them, other than obviously their powers are sweet, is that the comics themselves are focused more on them as people. And like they're the ones who, they don't have a secret identity. They're just out there. And like people know who they're high profile, and it's like they're just regular people. But I don't think it doesn't resonate. I just think Marvel does it better because now they've got Tony Stark, Iron Man, who wasn't a big, like, he's obviously a big comic book character, but before the movie, like, he was B-team. And he personifies that whole thing, and he's the most high-profile person you could ever want. Like, Robert Downey Jr. is the king of that, of just the wise-talking, I'm, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, whatever kind of stuff. So I just don't. I feel like it's an imitation. They're trying to imitate that, and they shouldn't. Whereas the people at Marvel Studios probably have their own ideas for the Fantastic Four movie that would fit into this rest of this universe because they're huge pivotal characters in it and could utilize them better. And Fox, like you said, just kind of rushed to beat the time clock to get the shot off, so to speak. And with the whole rights thing, like they had to leave stuff out. Like I don't know if Marvel Studios owns the rights to the term the negative zone. I would assume that would belong to the Fantastic Four, but they didn't use it in the negative zone that they go to in this movie. I believe it's called like Zero World or World Z or something weird. But it's just like I don't know if you know my biggest gripe about The Dark Knight Returns, or not the Dark Knight Rises, is like the end when the kid's name is Robin. I've gotten over that a little bit since its first. But when I saw it in the theater, I stood up. I was like, "What the fuck is this shit?" Because it doesn't have to be named Robin Blake. That's stupid. Name him Dick Grayson, or name him Jason Todd, or name him Tim Drake, or name him something. Just name him something else than Robin.
No. Yeah, much of an obvious.
Yeah.
Easter egg.
And the same thing with like Fox owning the rights to the word mutant. They couldn't call the Scarlet Witch and the Quicksilver mutants. I just think for the hardcore annoying super anal fans like me, it's just a slap in the face, I feel like. And I don't know why we can't all just get along and give the shit back to each other and say, you can use it, I can use it, I'm going to use it better than you, so stop using it, dick. But that's me, yeah. It's all about the four people getting as a family. And the one thing that I've heard resonate the most, and you're freezing on me, so I can't tell if you're sitting there or if your screen is actually frozen. But the one thing I've heard the most in the different reviews I've heard and people talking about it is that they're not a family at all. Like I know it's an origin story, but at no point during the movie do you feel like these four people even not get along, but are going to be like have each other's backs to the degree that they're supposed to, that you would for your own blood. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I think overall failure.
Yeah. I heard that as well. I heard that the thing that differentiates the Fantastic Four is that they're a family. So you don't get that point across, or you don't get that feel from the chemistry of the cast, it's going to fail. So, yeah, I think there should be room for success for this property if they do something like, have them really feel like a cohesive unit and almost unstoppable when they work together or whatnot. I heard that there's some like a few forced, cheesy, like we'll work together to defeat him type of lines.
Of course.
Yeah. But I did hear something interesting too that would have piqued my interest about the film. Apparently, there were little bits of spots in the film where Josh Trank put in, and I think I heard he would have liked to expound upon the idea that it was kind of about body horror in the film. Like they go to the negative zone or whatever it is, and they come back, and obviously they have their powers. But from what I heard in the movie, there was a few scenes, or I'm not sure how much time they spent with this was, but where they were just kind of like shocked and appalled at what they had become, which is in my mind kind of cool and realistic. Like what's his name there, Reggie Cathy, who is the guy who plays the father of Sue Storm and Johnny Storm.
Mm-hmm.
I think he comes into a room, supposedly sees his son lying there on fire, and is just like mortified. And Reed Richards is in his like hospital gurney, and his like appendages are stretching away from him, and he feels like some sort of monster. And I think Josh Trank, I guess, put some of that in there and wanted to explore more of that, which I think would be kind of a cool component to have in there.
Yeah.
But that might have been another spot where him and the studio didn't agree, and that could be remnants of the other film that he wanted to show the world, like he said in that tweet, that didn't get to be made or what have you. But who knows? Maybe somebody will get Fantastic Four right one day. But we're gonna have to wait. Yeah. Yeah. In the meantime, just make sure you do X-Men correctly.
It might just be a comic book. Stop making movies about it. And not every comic has to. And it's one of the wordiest, like most, not even dialogue driven, but like just dense comic books that there is. Like they're just talking, and there's descriptions, and it's like you might as well just read a book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it might just be better for kind of a flushed out print publication anyway, which is fine. I mean, nobody had that, but you know, what are you gonna do? Sometimes that's just the nature of the beast. Let's see. We can go quickly over some of these other. So Terminator Genesis did not do well.
We saw the movie in the preview, so I don't expect it to do well.
Yeah. Trailer gave away the twist.
Dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Arnold fighting Arnold kind of was like a cheap ploy to get people's attention. Even Khaleesi couldn't save the film. Hollywood is still pushing Jai Courtney on us, and will continue to do so with the Suicide Squad. I'm not sure when they're going to give up on that because I don't think he's that special.
Hey, come on. He's all right. Varro. He's Varro. For Christ's sake.
And that's the best thing he's done is being Varro.
That's true.
He's
not Jeremy Renner. Let's put it that way.
He's no Jeremy Renner structure flipper.
He's not going to save Die Hard 6, Die Hardest. He's not going to save Terminator. He's not going to save the Suicide Squad. I hope that movie's awesome. I really hope that movie's awesome.
I hope so too. I need to see a little bit more of it, but not yet. I don't need to see more of it yet.
Exactly, and I haven't in like a month. It's great. I feel like the movie already came out and people forgot about it.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, could have told you that wasn't. I mean, I think I read like Paramount wishes that they had switched it. MI5, Rogue Nation, and Terminator Genesis switched those spots in July and August. Probably would have been better. Maybe Terminator would have had a little bit more life if it was juxtaposed against the other competitors in August. It would have been a little bit easier for it, but who knows? Let's see. Tomorrowland.
I want to see Tomorrowland.
Okay. It was an uncharacteristic flop from Disney.
But it's probably going to become a cult classic. I feel like, I mean, when I saw the preview, you're like what you said before, it didn't tell you anything. No one knew what was it about until they saw it. I dug that about it, but then I never got around to see it. But I mean, Tom Hanks in a movie about your imagination or whatever the movie's about, he's
George Clooney.
Oh, did I say Tom Hanks?
Yeah.
I was thinking
Toy Story?
No, I was thinking the Polar Express. I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
Yeah, but still, George Clooney, I mean, sure, he kills some franchises like Batman, but he is, I mean, great actor. I'm going to see it, and I'm going to like it.
Is George Clooney a draw?
Not anymore.
Right. I don't think anymore. And to who? Like, who's this movie's audience? What's its demographic that it's trying to go grab? Like, I don't understand like the market that they were looking for.
Was it trying to be a family movie? I mean, it was a family movie. So it was probably, they threw him in there for the moms, for like the middle-aged women who remember him from ER and who are still thinking up there. Oh, yeah, in Oceans.
Loved him in Oceans.
Yeah.
I don't know. It kind of felt like it had too many fingers and too many feet in too many worlds. It was trying to straddle so many different market segments that it never really found its own really strong one. So I don't know. It was kind of a weird thing to even make. It was kind of a weird film to even make. And like Dr. House was the bad guy or something. I'm not really familiar with. He? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Hugh Laurie.
I love Hugh Laurie.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Definitely.
I don't know. He was definitely in it. I don't know if he was a bad guy, but I don't know. I'm interested in seeing it too, just because they spent a lot of money on this idea, so it must be semi-good somehow. So I'm curious to see what they saw in it that just didn't shine through. But Tomorrowland.
I love that too, that we're sitting here talking about it, and like it clearly didn't do as well as it should have, or well at all. And we're like, yeah, but it's Disney, so it's got to be good. So we just have to figure out how it's good, because it can't be bad.
Yeah.
I'm willing to let so many things go for Disney. Just like I give them such benefit of such doubt.
Yeah. So all right, so Tomorrowland, Ted 2, we mentioned it a little bit. Didn't do that well. I'm not a supporter of it that much. Yeah, it doesn't. I feel like this is a get off my porch, old man Pat type of a statement I'm about to make, but Seth MacFarlane's comedy doesn't really do it for me anymore. It's just, first of all, I felt like the first Ted was like okay. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was like the revelation that a lot of people thought it was, and I also like knew I was watching a live action Family Guy. So, which
is all I wanted to see. Which is all you're going there to see, Pat. Come on.
Right, which is fine. A lot of people are going to see that. It doesn't move the needle as much for me. So this having a second installment of it really wasn't going to move the needle for me either. And some of the, from the trailer, they seem like they were doing sort of some of the same jokes, and not the same jokes, but along the same lines. So I'm kind of surprised that it didn't do that great, but in my own mind, it's not too much of a surprise. But
yeah, I mean, I was going to see it in the theater, and then I saw Thousand Ways to Die in the West, and that was bad. I don't know if you've seen that. That was not very good. Oh man. I mean, some of the gags were kind of funny, but like, Jesus. I fell asleep. I didn't even see how it ended.
I might have fallen asleep too towards the end. Yeah.
Like, same thing with Godzilla. I tried to watch Godzilla 2 separate times, Pat, and I fell asleep both times.
Really?
Yeah.
See,
I know you love that movie.
I love it for like kind of different
filming. I get it. You're a diplomat.
I liked it because I thought the cinematography was really exceptional, with like some of the big sweeping shots of either the city or the ocean, or in the beginning where he shows where like one of the what the hell do they call those things? Those other monsters, they have like a shortened acronym or something for them when it like escaped from the island it was on or whatever. And I also kind of maintain that I enjoy that movie just because I know that Gareth Edwards made it and he's making Rogue One for Star Wars. So I keep trying to beat that Godzilla drum as make me feel okay about Rogue One. So, which by contrast, you might feel shitty about Rogue One because of it, but
no, I don't. Come on, anything Star Wars, I'm down for, but I don't know, dude. I don't. Something about it just put me to sleep. Twice is the thing. But anyway, back to Ted 2. I heard it was funnier than the first one.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just don't. I was interested to see what's her name, Seyfried, Amanda Seyfried.
Seyfried, yeah.
Seyfried. Instead of Mila Kunis, I want to see like what happened to Mila Kunis. I'm still interested in the movie. I just, like you said, it's like watching Family Guy, and I can't bring myself to pay $12 to go watch an episode of Family Guy.
Yeah, that's tough.
But I feel like, I don't know. Maybe it should have been a Netflix movie.
Another interesting critique of it that I heard, and I'm not going to take credit for it because I didn't think of this myself, but I thought it was an interesting point, was that it might be a little tone deaf right now for like what's going on in our own culture in America, because it's about like a teddy bear trying to get like civil rights or be treated like a normal everyday person, which is maybe not the most sensitive of topics to be exploring in a comedy sense, when we've got so much turmoil in Ferguson or Baltimore or whatever, all the crazy stuff that's been going on as of late with issues of race. So they thought that maybe that was kind of a weird undertone that shouldn't have been, it probably unknowingly, but maybe would have been smarter to avoid. But that was just an interesting point that it might have legs, it might not, but just another thing to think about. So yeah, that was Ted 2. Horror, we have to go crazy with horror. Insidious 3, Sinister 2, The Gallows. Sinister 1 is so damn good, but it leaves no room for a sequel. So when they made a sequel, I was never going to be a part of it, out of protest, really, because the twist at the end of Sinister was one of the better things I've seen, smarter things I've seen in a horror film in a long time. We saw the first Insidious together, I think, back at Stonehill. So I don't know why there's been a second, never mind a third. It was a good flick for for what you're getting into with horror for the most part, but I don't think I needed a third sequel. I don't know if you heard anything about either of those movies, but
no. It Follows didn't come out this year, did it?
Might have. If not just recently, potentially. I'm not sure. That might have.
Because I heard that was really good.
Okay.
Or was that the guy?
We could also. No, that was It Follows was 2014, I guess. Wow, really?
Really?
Or maybe it's on IMDb. It's saying it's 2014.
Oh, well,
but I thought it was this year too.
Maybe it was like right around Oscar time.
Potentially, yeah. And then another movie that you could kind of throw in there too would be Poltergeist. That came out in May.
Yeah.
Didn't see that.
I mean, I didn't hear anything great about it. It's there's nothing wrong with the first one. I don't know why they had to remake it.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think that. I listened to an interview of the director talk about it for a while, but it still didn't really totally convince me that was a property that needed to be revamped and redistributed. So horror did not do well this summer, but horror usually kind of makes its bones in September and October anyway. So
yeah.
We'll see what happens for them. Did I put that movie on your wall? I think I did.
With the mother?
Yes.
No face? Yes. Yeah. Looks creepy as shit.
Yeah. One of the weirder, most unnerving things I've seen in a while. But maybe we can talk about that more if we go into a fall preview later. So horror, could have done better. Pixels. Pixels did not do great. I don't know why anybody expected it to do great. The pitch that was probably made to Columbia Pictures would have to be like the next Lawrence of Arabia for them to have basically bought this movie, because it sounds so ridiculous. I can't even say it out loud for how asinine I think the concept is. But
I love the concept though.
Oh my god. Okay.
Is it okay? So I might have the concept wrong. So let me just make sure that I am on the same page as the rest of the world. It's like aliens are going to invade us, and they only have seen our technology up to 1980s video games, and they decide that's what they're going to invade us with. Come on. What's not to love about that?
Everything. I don't know. It's just. I thought it looked just so silly. And listen, like I've been on an Adam Sandler film set. Like I understand what he's doing in this new chapter of his career. Like he's just hustling the PG crowd, just draining them of every single red cent they got, which is smart.
Yeah.
So I respect the hustle in that respect, but like this movie is just wildly unnecessary in my mind. I don't know how you could make this a believable, good movie. Not believable, of course not believable, but something that feels as if it wasn't just a cartoon the entire time. But I don't know. It just all the way from like the whole concept of they have to find like the best video game players on the planet, and one is like Tyrion Lannister, and they're all in these like blue jumpsuits, and they do like that same joke that we've seen a million times, where there's like a guy who thinks he can go speak to the monster or the beast, or in this case Pac-Man, because he understands Pac-Man on a different level, and Pac-Man just bites his arm off. And he runs away saying, kill that fucking thing or whatever. Like, how many times are we going to see that done in different iterations? Like, once I saw that in the trailer, I was like, no, definitely not going to see that. You just did that. It bothers me. That's a sticking point for me. But
fine, that's fine. No one try to make peace. Here's Pat's things. No one try to make peace with the aliens. And if you're funny, your name better be Robert Downey Jr., or I'm not having it.
Yeah. No unnecessary comedy. I don't want to see any tryhards out there.
Especially in a comedy movie. Get out of here. What are you doing, making a joke?
Yeah, if you're running operations technicians on the plane, I don't want you butting in. Yeah.
Okay. So, none of that for you. That's fine. Damn.
Still gonna see Pixels?
I mean, I feel like that'll be a movie I watch if I'm like hungover one day on a Sunday and it is on when I wake up because I've left the TV on and I can't find the remote. No, I'm going to watch that. I'm going to go out of my way to watch that just to spite you and your negative attitude.
Well, I'm going to need somebody to tell me about it, so that's fine.
Well, I'm going to give you a play-by-play. I may send the entire movie to you through Snapchats. I may watch 10 seconds of the movie at a time, pause it, send the Snapchat, restart it, so that you can get – I wonder if you can do that. You can get a full movie through a Snapchat story.
Yeah, you conceivably could.
Huh?
You might kill your phone real quick, but
yeah, I want to keep it plugged in.
That's what you got cords for. Anyway, so those were the losers. Unless you could think of anything else that really stood out in your mind as a big loser. Entourage could have been put on the losers list, but I wasn't going to disrespect Entourage like that.
Yeah, no. I mean,
statistically, but still, yeah.
But it was low budget, so it was profitable.
Yeah, it was profitable, so it's not technically a loser. They thought I was going to do better than it did, but they still like quadrupled their money. So
yeah,
it's all good there. And then I had a couple kind of sleeper dark horse winners that did better than people assumed, or just quietly was successful films. One was Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl, which was one of the darlings at Sundance. Came out in June. I didn't get a chance to see it, but everybody had a very good things to say about it. One of the better like feel good films with heart of the summer, which is pretty cool. I thought it was an interesting concept when the trailer came out, so I definitely want to check that out once it comes to DVD. And then another kind of straight out of nowhere was The Gift, which was a film starring and directed by Joel Edgerton, also with Jason Bateman.
Right. That was good?
Yes, it was very good, supposedly. I heard all like glowing reviews about it, and it even like did better the second weekend because of the buzz that was behind it. So that was distributed by a new studio called STX Entertainment, and they also did like really and I'm a geek for this sort of stuff, so I appreciate this. They also did like really smart marketing. So the gift, for anybody who doesn't know, is about like this guy from your high school who is just kind of like a weirdo guy. Like everybody has sort of knows this guy, a weirdo guy, kind of like hangs around. You're nice to him, but like doesn't really get social cues. Just kind of hangs around too often. Thinks you're like better friends than you really are. You run into them, they never stop talking or whatever. So it's like a thriller about Joel Edgerton being that weird guy and Jason Bateman trying to like get this guy off his back. And Joel Edgerton's character would just kept sending, I guess, gifts to Jason Bateman, and I guess it gets worse and worse and more creepy, and it's like a psychological thriller in that regard. But anyway, the point being that the marketing behind it was pretty smart because STX was sending gifts to people in the press or critics, gifts that kind of, I heard one guy say he got a gift from the people at STX, and he opened it up and it was like, hey, like, here's a baseball card from the game that you and I went to back in like 2007 where you had like 3 hot dogs and I spilled a beer on you by accident. And it was so well researched, I guess. Like this was stuff that would actually be in these reporters or the critics past. So they would get like kind of freaked out that they did so much good research into them, like the character in the film would do, that they, you know, found a way to send them this little package and says, oh, by the way, go see the gift. But yeah, so
neat.
I think it's kind of cool, different sort of marketing ploy. So STX, they did well with the gift. So I definitely want to check that out too. I think that came out late July. So we'll get that in a couple months. But those are my dark horse sleepers for the summer. I'm probably missing 1 or 2, but those were kind of the ones that stood out in my mind.
That's cool.
Do you want to?
I wish I had like a dark horse or a sleeper. The last, I want to say like 3 weeks, I've been on like a really aggressive Kevin Smith and Dan Harmon kick. And I've like watched all Kevin Smith's movies, and I watched Community all the way through. And I've been listening to Harmontown and countless Smodco podcasts. So that's what I've been up to. So I haven't seen anything new for like almost a month. Yeah. So I feel like out of the loop, and I feel like I'm very unprepared. I feel like I'm unprepared for like a test or a quiz or something at school, even though I'm not.
Yeah, it's a pop the trunk production over here. It's you get what we give. So
yeah, but yeah, I saw American Ultra, which
true.
Here's the thing, and I said this off pod. It let me down, but that's my fault. And I feel kind of like a rape victim saying that, but like, it was my fault because because I had these expectations in my head of what it was going to be, and it was great in its own right, but it wasn't what I was expecting. So I think at a second glance, I will really appreciate it more. But I think Jesse Eisenberg kind of quelled a little bit of my fear about him playing Lex Luthor.
Really?
A little bit.
Because I would have thought these are like opposite roles.
They are exactly opposite. But it was, I could see him turning it on. I can envision him being Lex Luthor in the movie. So there's that. And it made me appreciate, and Kristen Stewart made me appreciate her a little bit more.
Oh, good.
Because I feel like she's just a kind of emotionless person, but they played that well. They played that well. She wasn't like she was put in some pretty emotional situations, but she gave a good performance, and hats off to her. Topher Grace. I'm a Topher Grace fan. I don't care.
Topher Grace is not a film?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So yeah.
So those two Sneaky are in a few films together.
Who's that?
I'm talking about Kristen Stewart and Jesse Eisenberg because they did this film together, opposite one another. They also did Adventureland opposite one another.
Oh, yes, they did.
Which is kind of interesting. The fact that these two keep finding projects together.
Yeah,
they must be friends.
He's a lot like his character in Adventureland,
mm-hmm.
to some degree in this.
I've met him. This was while. So, quick story here. This was while he was shooting The Social Network in Cambridge around Boston. This was our freshman year, and I went to the Celtics game, and I all of a sudden was in the lobby of the building or whatever, about to go up to our seats, and somebody tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey man, do you know where I can buy tickets?" And I turned around and looked down. Kid is short.
Really?
And yeah, and he said, "You know where I can buy tickets?" And I said, yeah, like over there." I showed him, I pointed him to where he could find it, and he was like, "Oh, cool, thank you," and just kind of walked off. And I remember what did he had just done? I had to say something to him, and because he was filming The Social Network. But he had done, I'm trying to look it up on IMDb, what he had just done prior to that I said, like, "Oh, you were good and whatever, by the way." And he was like, "Oh, cool, thanks," and like kept walking. But anyway.
You rubbing elbows, Pat.
It might have been Adventureland, because that did come out before, or Zombieland, I'm not sure which. Also, he picks like similar sounding, I don't know, weird career.
Awesome movies, both Adventureland and Zombieland.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, horrible tangent by me, but American Ultra, that's interesting because I did not get a chance to go see that. So
yeah,
cool. Well, we talked about maybe doing a Who Won the Summer beyond the studios of Disney and Universal individually. I have an answer, and I think you might know the answer by some of our conversation prior leading up to it. So I'm going to say, and it's a bit of a foreshadowing because it's not reflective of his body of work during the summer, but I think The Rock won the summer.
That's fair.
Between having such a strong, an out of nowhere kind of strong showing with Paris. Also, his comedy on HBO, Ballers, got picked up for a second season. And then on top of that, he just Fast and Furious, Furious 7, I should say, just before that, in April. But then I should also say that he signed on to about every single project in all of Hollywood. I mean, he signed on for over the summer. He signed on for at least Rampage, which is that weird like video game adaptation. I don't know if this was like an old, like before our time type of video game.
It's not a video. It's not a okay. Never mind. It's not a movie. It's not a remake of the movie Rampage, is it?
No.
Oh, because that's
something. It's something where there's like a giant lizard, a giant gorilla, and a giant wolf man that runs about destroying cities. Yeah, and he's attached to that. He's also made headlines for joining Baywatch, the movie, with newly announced Zac Efron now as well.
Of course, makes sense.
He has finished working on Moana, which is a new Disney animation film set in the Polynesian Islands. He lends the voice of the main character or something, or one of the main characters. Also, speaking of Disney, he just signed on to be the lead on Jungle Cruise, which is a film adaptation of the popular ride at Disney. They're hoping to do what they did with Pirates of the Caribbean and not do what they just did with Tomorrowland and actually succeed with one of these theme park rides. And last but not least, he's rumored to be the lead in the remake of Big Trouble in Little China.
Really?
So he's just like bang, 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 bang. I mean, he's also going to be Shazam, but that wasn't announced.
I was going to say,
earlier.
well, is he going to be Shazam or is he going to be the Black Adam? I think he's going to be the Black Adam.
He's Black Adam, yeah.
The bad guy in Shazam, which is even better because he's a cooler character.
Yeah. And I think he wanted to be Black Adam, too.
Yeah, because it's a more menacing. He's the most menacing. That's awesome. I didn't know they were going to redo Big Trouble in Little China. Have you seen that? That's hysterical movie.
I haven't seen it.
Awesome.
And I know it's kind of like a culty type of thing, and from the blowback I've been hearing about the news surrounding that announcement, people don't want it to be remade because it's that special to them. So I definitely want to see it.
You should see it. It's great. I mean, yes. Anyway, see it. But that's The Rock. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking of The Rock for my winner. I was gonna say, just in the world, the two people who I would say might have won the summer would be either Caitlyn Jenner or Ronda Rousey.
I like this. Go outside of the box. I like this a lot.
Because Ronda, I mean, I've been on Facebook all day on the Marine who asked her to the ball thing.
She was just on Rogan's podcast today. I listened to the whole thing.
Oh, really? I'm listening to that. Which one? Okay.
Joe Rogan Experience, yeah.
Perfect. But in terms of film and movies, I'd say that George Miller won the summer just because he showed everyone that with a dream and willpower and
that they don't know shit except for him.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. You can make whatever you want to make, and I don't know. Just really, because I mean, if you listen to our gripes for the past, I think we've done 12, 13 podcasts. Most of them are like, oh, they just CGI poor and this and that. And people talk about that all the time. And this was just a movie. He was like, you want to see something real? Here you go. Chew on this for a while. Mm-hmm. Don't choke, though. Make sure you chew because this is a meal. Anyway. Yeah. So that's my pick.
That's a good one. George Miller's a good one. I mean, I think he's right now the biggest name that draws the most excitement when you're talking about future projects and directors. So he's a good one too. Anyway, that might be the summer in the nutshell. A crazy season. Next summer will be an interesting time. We're gonna get more, I think, Fox and because Squad is over the summer. Mm-hmm. We know that Superman Batman is March of all times.
Of next year?
Squad is over the summer. Yeah, March of 16.
Stupid question.
And then we're gonna get Apocalypse, X-Men Apocalypse, and whatnot.
I couldn't care. I wish I cared.
You don't care about X-Men Apocalypse?
I don't, Pat. I don't.
Oh, interesting. I'm surprised. You're just really anti-protesting Fox, aren't you?
I told you why,
just fair.
How much I wanted Fantastic Four to do well because it was gonna like make me believe again that a movie like X2 could be made by Fox because X2 is still one of the best superhero movies. I think. Well, I mean, if you can't count the Marvel movies, you could, but it's in the top 10. X-Men 2, X-Men United. That's when they like steal all the kids from the school. They have the big fight in the school, and Wolverine's just running around like knifing people left and right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And like
I
they
always
go, he fights X-23 with the fingernails.
okay. Um, yeah, Last Stand is just burned into my brain.
Exactly,
That whole,
exactly.
yeah,
Which was the beginning of the end.
yeah,
But I mean, even Days of Futures Past had some cool parts, had some cool effects, but didn't make a good movie. It was confusing for the sense of being confusing, for the sake of being confusing, I think. And I mean, I followed it. I mean,
yeah.
what the hell was his name? Our philosophy professor. Couldn't tell you, but he would be proud of me because I followed the plot the whole time, and he'd have been like, "This is a movie you need to really follow through on." But there was no point to it. Like it's whatever.
Yeah.
It was cool, but it wasn't what I'm looking for. I'm just done with Fox. I'm done, Pat.
Yeah. No,
Wash my hands.
it's fair. It's fair. Anyway, so there'll be stuff next summer. We'll just get into it when we get there. But like I said, we might be doing hopefully a fall preview of some of the cool properties to come. I'm talking probably about including everything up until Christmas. So there's a lot of Christmases packed. But there is some cool stuff coming prior to that. James Bond. What else is coming out? A few different things. There's so many things now I can't remember shit.
Well,
there are.
we can dedicate a whole pod to that.
Yeah, we will. Anyway, so this has been your summer blockbuster hangover edition of Hey Lady, You Call Dr. Jones, a Run the Julz podcast production. For Jake, my name is Pat Julian. As always, thanks for hanging in there with us, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, Bolty.